Welcome back to BaldHeaded Metal, guys, and welcome back to another reaction from Seven Spires. It comes by the way of a Patreon request. It's the song "The God Is Dead," and honestly, what drew me to it the most is the name Roy Khan. For those who don't know, he was a former singer of Camelot. I don't know if he has his own projects now, but just I very fondly remember his vocals and how good he was in Camelot. I even seen him live one time. He blew my face off completely. So I'm excited to check out what this song's gonna be like because the last one I really liked and it got a vocalist that I really enjoy. Seems like a combination made in heaven. Let's get into it and see what we got. Yeah, the only thing I'm going to be looking out for in the song, it is a almost 11-minute song. If it drags for the sake of dragging and being trying to make this big, long, epic song, or is it going to be done right? And I mean, so far it's a nice kind of a build up to that it's going to explode into this kind of symphonic metal sound. I mean, this is great so far. I really, really like what I'm hearing. And I gotta tell you, that beginning organ part, because this band has very strong gothic kind of a feel to it that they purposely kind of designed. I love that gothic feel. I feel like I'm playing, if even you guys are gaming fans, Castlevania. It has that very Castlevania sound and very epic. So far, it's great. Her vocals are great. And in some ways, it's nice not to see a music video because you could just focus on the music and I'm not distracted by the visuals. I love Roy Khan's voice. I always have. I'd always thought for me, he made Camelot, and it was the best years of Camelot when he was there. Because the music in Camelot is quite simplistic. It's good. I remember when people were comparing it to like the new Iron Maiden. That's what they were kind of saying. No freaking way. I love Camelot, but they to me never reached those same heights. And it's his vocals that really enhance the whole package. Where Bruce Dickinson and Iron Maiden, in my opinion, is one of the successful things because everybody is good in it. The drumming, the bass, the guitars, solos, everything. That's a nice bass line there. It's a really nice switch, right? And it gives you something fresh to listen to with the bass line, kind of nice switching. I mean, listening to the previous song and so far listening to this song and then comparing it to the first reaction that I did from Seven Spires, to me, that first song is not representative of the band at all. It seems like they're, I don't mean to be so kind of blunt about it, but it's the weakest attempt from them. It was just like a typical symphonic metal. I heard this shit before. It's like it's not even interesting. Don't get me wrong. Like these two last songs, they're not shattering in terms of genre shattering, but it's just really well played symphonic metal. They're very reminiscent of like 2000s. Perhaps maybe that's where it came out as well. It just sounds great to me. Nice growl.
What happened to me? Who am I? Who am I? Everything I've been feels like it's a lie.
See, this is an interesting part for me where I've complained many times on this channel. I'm like, oh my god, why are you stretching this part out? Like, let's keep moving, let's keep going. And this bass and kind of softer part has been playing for a couple of minutes, and I don't mind it. And that's what I always try to say on this channel is that, first of all, music is subjective. You can't convince me of my opinion is wrong, and I can't do the same for you. We just have our own opinions. But sometimes I just get this feeling where something is well written. It could be 30 minutes, and it'll feel too short. And then you listen to something that's 3 minutes, and it's just the way it's written. You're like, I'm kind of done with this. There's not really much going on. And my main example of somebody who could write like a 3-minute song and it'll be horrible is Papa Roach, for example. Especially when they stole an Iron Maiden riff. I remember back in the day, my brother and I listened to the music video on MTV when MTV played music. And we just kind of looked at each other like, that's the main Iron Maiden riff from one of the songs. He's just playing like a part of it for the whole song. They didn't even improvise within it. It would have been a cool callback, like, oh, see, we know Iron Maiden. It was like the same shit for the whole song. It was I can't remember the name of the song, but it was horrible.
Bow before the majesty, this loathsome demon reborn, life with new purpose. See the earth through young eyes, feel the universe through an ancient soul.
Again, really nice switch, but the only thing I'm wondering so far is like 6 minutes into it, and Roy Khan maybe had a total of 20 seconds on his vocals, and I really hope he comes back and does more. Like, I feel like he should have been half of the song, and maybe even playing off her a little bit. It would have been really cool to see. It's too often. I would say most features for me, I go, well, that was cool, but this wasn't necessary. Because you don't really collaborate. It's just they had one line in there that you could have sung yourself. Or, for example, I remember that in Melakesh, when he invited Max Cavalera, he was just doing like the background vocals. I mean, yes, it sounded cool. And perhaps as a musician, when you break down all these little things, oh my God, you can hear it. But as a listener, you kind of fade out by that and not really impressed because you kind of forget about it. But when somebody plays a solo, or they have a major part in the song, you really feel it. And I really hope that Roy Khan does have a bigger part in this song. She kind of reminds me of like having almost like a Demo Burger style vocals, the way she does the growls, which just kind of hit me really. She has like the same kind of like growl at the end that she does. I gotta say, this last part of the song, I'm kind of listening to it. It's just not even that it's long. It's just not interesting. This particular part, when especially with this like blast beats and you kind of hitting it, I do get bored by that very quickly unless there's an interesting kind of a rhythm going. My good example would be something from Immortal, like Sons of Northern Darkness, where they use a lot of blast beats in there, but there's like a really interesting underlying kind of like moody rhythm going on to it the whole time. Whereas here is the same kind of organs we've been hearing throughout the song and her vocals, I think, the two kind of counterparts to this whole thing. And it just seems to not to me not on par with the rest of the song so far. And it's like it doesn't ruin the whole song, but it is something that I feel right off the bat. That's a nice little thing that they're doing. Like they kind of singing the notes together in the end. Although I didn't notice it the first time it happened. I only noticed it the second time that he's in the background of the vocals. And again, that's to my exact point. What I was saying, I don't think this collaboration was very necessary. It must have been cool for them to do. Perhaps maybe they looked up to Roy Khan, but it's just not. I don't think it's a bad thing on your song, if you've invited somebody, to almost give them a little bit of a lead or more to do in the song, like because this seems like too small of a part for Roy Khan to be doing. So much so, like it's kind of forgettable. Like if you don't mention it on the song, like oh, featuring Roy Khan, this is how my brain works. It probably would have been fine. Like oh, Roy Khan's here, oh that's cool, and just keep going. But it's like featuring Roy Khan. It makes this kind of whole big deal. In my head, like as soon as I see it on the name of the song, it makes this whole big deal. And then when you hear it, it's a little bit underwhelming. But the song itself is actually interesting. I do like many parts of it so far. And it has like a nice fade out with a piano. Oh, violin.
Guide of the lost, guardian of the broken, bringer of peace in final hours. Happiness is a choice, and purpose a charted course. I'm but a soul keeper. This god is dead.
I wonder if artists, when they make these kinds of songs where they're just talking, do fans find it interesting? Because I rarely do personally. Like I'm here for the music, and I think personally, sometimes artists are very much in love with the material that they wrote and they feel proud of it. But to the detriment of the listener, where they forget about the listener a little bit. It's like, hey, at the end of the day, you're still making music for the world. I don't believe like when some artist says, no, I just made this painting for me, or I'm a musician, I just made this album for you. Well, then you would have recorded it and kept it in your basement. You wouldn't have released it to the public. You know, you wouldn't have tried to make money on it and monetize it. Same thing with movies, and same thing even with this channel. It's like, you know, at the end of the day, I could have been doing my own reactions in a room and never released to the public if I haven't had the intention to somehow do something with this channel, right? So it's the same thing I think with music. And there's a couple of parts in here that are a little bit self-indulgent. That's how I would say. Where they kind of forget the listener, and I say that by the average listener. So let's say super fans almost don't count, because they tend to just love. They're the guys who love everything that band has to offer. They're on board. There's the haters who just, no matter what this band does, it sucks. And then there's the average listener, which is me, and I would say that's me with all of metal. As much of a fan I am, there's no band I can point a finger to that I haven't criticized in some way or been like, this is okay, on a long enough timeline. And it's just personal opinion. It's like, it's not because, oh, I am so sophisticated in my knowledge. No, not so much. Like my favorite band, Iced Earth, by the end of the career, it's just, they're not the same. The music is boring. The riffing was boring. It's just not the same. But actually, speaking about Iced Earth, my favorite, probably long song of all time is Dante's Inferno. It's like a 15-minute song. I absolutely love every single second of it. I can't tell you if there's self-indulgent parts, because perhaps with that song, I am a super fan. And I'm going to leave it at that. A little bit of contradicting myself, a little bit of expressing myself, because we all take music in different ways. And guys, let me know what your opinion is on this particular song as well. And guys, I would love to hear some reactions from you. What would you like to see on this channel that me react to? Some suggestions would be nice. And guys, make sure to enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe out there and keep it metal.